Hey everyone, it's Andy Hodges coming to you live in Sebastian for Sebastian Daily. We do have Mayor Ed Dodd with us today. We're going to talk to him in just a moment. 91 degrees right now under partly cloudy skies. Windy today. There is a wind advisory right now until 8 o'clock tonight. Wind gusts are as high as 30 miles per hour. Tonight's low will be 71. Small rain chance for Tuesday and Wednesday. Highs near 90, overnight lows near 70. We have an announcement that Sandy's Grill has reopened. She's open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day for curbside pickup and delivery. You can call them at 772-589-3666. Again, 589-3666. And here are the current numbers for the coronavirus. Locally in Sebastian, there are now 7 cases. Fellsmere, 1 case. Malabar, 1. Grant, 1. Barefoot Bay, 1. Micco, 0. Vero Beach, 50. In Indian River County, there are now 75 cases. 1 death from last week. Over 1,000 people have tested negative. There are 20 people in the hospital. Brevard County has 140 cases, 5 deaths. Over 2,600 people tested negative. 35 people in the hospital. Florida cases, there are over 20,000 cases now. 566 of them are non-Florida residents. There have been 470 deaths, and over 175,000 people in Florida have tested negative. There are 2,600 people in the hospital. And with us right now is Mayor Ed Dodd. We just want to welcome you to our newscast.
Thank you, Andy, for having me on here. There's some issues that have been raised by many citizens that I'd like to address today pertaining to like the parks and the golf course. But first of all, I'd like to thank the Sebastian residents as well as the residents of Indian River County and the state of Florida for how well they've adhered to the Safe at Home initiative and the social distancing. The flattening of the curve, I hate to use those words, but it seems to be everyone now understands that. It's good evidence that these measures are working. They're being advocated at the federal and the state level and at the local level as well. So I want to thank you for that. I also want to thank our city manager, Paul Carlisle. He's kind of an unsung hero in this effort. He's not only managing the city, but he's also working with a coordinated group of people from the county government, the emergency services, law enforcement, and the other city managers in the county to try to maintain some consistency in the county and how we react to this pandemic. He's doing a great job in that, but you don't ever see him, you don't ever hear about his efforts in that, and I'd like to personally thank Paul for that. The parks and the golf course. I get a lot of references about the parks and the golf course. Why are they still open? Well, the parks themselves are still open because it's an avenue of escape for people. I just drove by Riverfront Park on the way down here, and there were several people in there picnicking. There was, I saw 2 families that were having picnics. I saw people walking on the trail inside in this 90-degree weather, which is shaded. And it's a good avenue for that. And as long as people continue to maintain social distancing and using those parks in a thoughtful manner, I don't see us trying to close them. It's a good idea for us to keep them open for people to use. We did have to close the playground areas because we did see people congregating in playground areas in the park. So for that reason, they were closed. That's the same reason we ended up closing the tennis and pickleball facilities, because people congregated there. The golf course is also the same kind of an avenue. It's still open because people are practicing their safe distancing. It's 1 person per cart. There is an exception to that rule, and that's if it's a couple that live together, want to play together, we let them ride the cart together. We've got noodles in the golf holes. For those of you who are golfers, that means that no one has to touch the pin. No one has to stick their hand down in the hole to get their ball out after they putt it. They can just take 2 fingers and pull it out. So we've taken a lot of measures out there to try to make it safe for golfers to play, and I see that we're going to probably keep that open as long as we can, as long as people follow those rules. As far as face masks and social distancing, federal, local, and state officials have all pretty much said that social distancing is mandatory, and there are even areas in Florida where people are being written tickets for not social distancing. We're not going that far in Indian River County, but we advocate the social distancing. We also suggest that people use face masks when they go to the essential services that they go. There is conversation among the group that is planning the response for the county about the possibility of mandating face masks. The problem with that, of course, always comes with enforcement. You can tell people they have to wear one, but what can you do if they don't? We're not going to arrest people for not wearing a face mask in Publix. And so it becomes very difficult. So far, we've had a great response from the public on doing the things that have been suggested. And so even if we say that we're going to mandate face masks, we hope that just becomes one more thing that people follow, knowing that the enforcement of that is almost impossible to do. The police department, our police department in Sebastian, is still visiting stores, still talking to the management of the stores about social distancing. I noticed the Publix has initiated one-way traffic in their aisles. I'm not sure, I haven't been to Walmart, so I don't know if they're doing the same thing. And so it's a good step to do that. Now, local businesses, this is not part of the face mask park issue. This is a part of trying to salvage our local businesses. The local restaurants that are capable of doing takeout and delivery are trying to keep their doors open through that means. Residents of Sebastian, please support that. If you feel like that you want to have a meal other than something you prepare, do takeout food. It's safe. There's no indication that the virus is transmitted in food. The containers that they provide the food to you in can be cleaned by just spraying them down with alcohol if you want to before you touch them or open them. We need to support these businesses because they're all having a very hard time. And if buying a takeout meal periodically from them helps them stay in business, it's better for Sebastian to take that, to do that step. Don't let your guard down right now. It's not time for us to say that this is almost over, the curve is flattened, we're going to go back to business as normal. That's kind of the worst thing that can happen. If we do that, then it's kind of like anything that happens. If we let our guard down, then the virus is going to win the war. It's going to come back with a vengeance. We have to stay the course. We have to stay the course as long as it takes for the scientists to tell us that the virus is now abating. And so I please ask you to do that if you can. I want to thank you for your support for the city. Stay safe. Stay home unless you have to go out. And if you go out, wear a mask. Andy, thank you.
Yeah, there was a question about the Rhythm on the River concert for May 1st. Do you think that's canceled?
Right now, the orders from the state are end on the 30th of April, but I would doubt. I'm not saying anything official,
Yeah.
but it would surprise me if that concert can take place on the 1st of May.
Okay.
It really would. The organizers of that concert, I believe, may find that it's difficult for them to put it on.
I think it was the chamber, I think.
Yes, it's real difficult to maintain social distancing when you have something like that to take place.
And is there a plan in place to bring the businesses back on when all this is over?
Well, once the state, and even though the federal government talks a lot, and you hear a lot in the press conferences about open the country, it's really not necessarily a federal issue, it's a state issue. Once the governor decides that he wants to try to begin to open business, then that'll happen. It's going to take a while. I personally, if they open it too early, in my opinion, from what I'm seeing about the information, I'm probably not personally going to visit a restaurant yet. So
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult on the restaurants and the stores initially when they reopen because people are going to be reluctant to go there. There's not much that the city can do related to that. That's really a state issue.
A governor.
And the governor makes that decision, and then what we have to do is assist the city businesses if we can to try to reopen their doors. But it's not going to be an instantaneous open. You're not going to open doors and have them go back in business like they were before this happened on day one.
I keep getting this question also. Why isn't there a curfew?
Curfews are possible to
Yeah.
do. This isn't a natural disaster where we have a hurricane where people are, where people are breaking into homes and stealing stuff.
Looting
This is an
and-
entirely different issue. The curfew for us is keeping 6 feet away from people and
Yeah.
wearing a mask. That's the curfew. There's nothing that would help for us to say after 10 o'clock at night you can't go out. Thankfully, we live in an area in the United States where we don't have the problems that the major cities have.
Yeah.
Curfews in New York City probably would be good because there's a lot of nasty people in New York City. There's only 6 old grouches in Sebastian.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
so I don't have to worry about somebody breaking in my house at night during this process. So
Everybody's home.
yeah, everybody's home.
That's great. Mayor, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you.
And Sebastian, we're doing everything we can. Everyone was wearing their masks, gloves, staying at home. I think that's why we've got 7 cases. So keep up the great work. We're going to be back either today or tomorrow for another newscast. I'm Andy Hodges for Sebastian Daily.